Hello and welcome to Interviewers Red Flag. The question you must answer to clear the interview. So these are some of the question that looks easy, but what I have seen in my experience is that most get it wrong, or they just know the very basic, and when you ask the follow-up question, right, they will not be able to answer. This is applicable for dev, senior dev, lead, or even tech manager. The question is, what is the use of the using block in C sharp? So question appears very simple, and most likely people will talk about that it helps to clear memory when object goes out of scope, right? But when you ask them, like why you are not using with all other classes, right, why you are using with only specific classes, the candidate will say that I have used with SQL connection or used with the file, right? But then they will not be able to answer that why they have not used with any other classes. The issue is that they don't understand the difference between managed and unmanaged object. Mainly we use dispose when we are dealing with the unmanaged objects, right? So what is using? Using block ensures that the dispose is called immediately after the object scope ends, and this is very critical for releasing unmanaged resources like file handle and database connections, right? There are other unmanaged objects like network sockets, streams, right? So if you don't release it immediately, or by explicitly by calling the dispose method, right, then what will happen is that because these are unmanaged object, it will not be taken care by the garbage collector, and then you will have memory leak, and eventually your application will crash, right? So the other thing is, when you use using block, right, whenever even when any exception occurs, right, it ensures that the object is disposed, and I will explain this later. So the key is, it can be only called for an object that implements iDisposable interface, right? So how it works internally is, like we using with like var stream equal to new file stream, something like that, right? And internally compiler converts this to this code block, which includes try and finally, right? And inside finally it disposes the stream object, right? So it always ensures, because finally runs, right, irrespective of exception or not, right, and it will ensure that the object is disposed. So using is like a shortcut for creating try and finally and disposing the object in the finally. So let's understand again, right? So dispose is not same as garbage collection, right? Garbage collection happens for managed object, while dispose we use for for clearing unmanaged resources, right? And uh, it ensures that object is disposed irrespective of any exception is there or not, right? And and only object that implement iDisposable uses with that object only we can use using block. So let's see that quickly in the code. So this is one of the example of using, right, where we have used where we have put the StreamWriter object instantiation inside the using block, and once this compiler hits this line, right, not the compiler, while the execution, right, uh, at this line what will happen is that writer will get disposed of, right, and you will not be able to use writer after that. So let's say you have created another class file logger, right, which is using unmanaged resources. So for now let me remove this dispose iDisposable interface. So can you use using like this? This is the file logger that you created, and if you see it is giving you error, the just okay. So now you see it is giving error saying that file logger type used in using statement must be implicitly convertible to system.idisposable. So you can't use using unless this implement idisposable, right? So now it implement idisposable, and you should be able to use using for file logger, right? There can be another question that can be asked, like explain dispose pattern. So let me also take that up here. So let's say we have implemented file logger, right? We have implemented idisposable. So with idisposable you need to create this dispose method, right? And inside dispose, uh, usually in dispose pattern what we do, we create another protected dispose method, and we call the dispose again from this dispose public dispose to the protected dispose, and here we are passing it as a true. So whenever somebody is calling dispose method, or it is being called because of using, what it will do, it will come here, it will try to clear, it will clear the managed resources first. So StreamWriter is a managed. Internally it may use unmanaged resources, but it is being it has been managed by the garbage collection. So you can clear the managed resource here, and any unmanaged resource, we don't have anything, but if you have any unmanaged resource you can clear it here, right? So what will happen is, when the dispose is being called, it will first clear this managed resource, and then it will clear the unmanaged resource, and then we will set disposed equal to true. So if anyone calls again, right, from anywhere, it will know that disposed is called, and it will not do anything here. There's other place from where you can call this, and that's why we are passing true and false. The other place could be the destructor or finalizer. So if you are calling from finalizer, finalizer is called only by the garbage collection, right? So when garbage collection calls this, by that time mostly it clears the managed resources. So at this point of time, we don't have managed resource. And why we are we are having finalizer, this is like a guard. Like let's say if somebody forget to call this dispose method, right, then then unmanaged resources will not get cleared. So to ensure that unmanaged resources are cleared, we create a finalizer or destructor, which will get called by the garbage collection. So from when we are calling from garbage collection, from the finalizer, we set it as we call by passing for false. So what will happen, that it will ignore this one, because as I said, managed resources are already taken care by them, right, by the garbage collection, and it will just clear the unmanaged resources. And it is also important to call gc.suppress finalize from dispose method, which as I said earlier, right, will be called by the using statement. So you can say suppress finalize. It means that you are saying explicitly to garbage collection that I have already disposed my resources, so please don't call the finalize method, right? So the finalize is suppressed. If you don't do this, then there will be one extra step where garbage collection will put this object in the finalization queue, and then only it will clear the object once it runs again and clears the finalize queue, right? So it is always best to do like this. So this is the dispose pattern I was talking about. Thank you. Please like and subscribe if you find this useful.